right. Looking good. Okay, welcome to another great episode of Transformed and Renewed. How y'all feeling out there? Y'all feeling good? I bet y'all looking good too. So if you're just not joining us, make sure you like and share and even leave a comment throughout or even after you watch this video. Would love to appreciate your feedback. And check this out. Got on my alma mater shirt. You can see it. Had to represent today. And I actually still can wear this. That's a good thing because, you know, I wasn't sure if I would be able to wear this, you know, after, graduating. But, it fits well. So glory to God. But again, I'm glad to be joining y'all today. And we got a great topic. I'm just going to let you know that for tonight. And I want to talk with you about, is snacking good for you? Now, with this, and I will give a disclaimer that the information I'm sharing with you is just a recommendation of some things for you to consider. And when it comes to this topic, I want to dive into the pros and the cons because usually with any popular question, there are pros and cons to anything, that you would do or most of the things that you do. And I also want to provide some guidance or some assistance to really help you because I know that this is, a topic that, many people may struggle with, in terms of snacking and may not realize how some of the decisions you make, when it comes to snacking can actually impact your overall health. So I'm just going to dive into it. I was reading through a study or through some research, and I observed that, in the United States, snacking is very common. It's actually highly common that a lot of people, most people, actually snack a lot. And this really just made me think, when I think back in time, even myself, being a snacker, and you know, I still do snack, but I will, explain later, like how, I actually, manage my snacking. But I'm aware that when it comes to snacking, of the foods that are associated with it, when most people think of snacks, they think of chips, they think of crackers, candies, even chocolate candies, or even like fruit flavored light candies, nuts, trail mix, popcorn, stuff like that. The list can go on and on. Even, when you start to upscale the snacking, you may do a charcuterie board, or you may do like hors d'oeuvres, so to speak, like a cheese tray. So, snacks can range from, what you may pick up on a shelf to getting it from a frozen aisle or just getting it prepared for you. But I also want to dive into like, like I said, when I asked the question, is snacking good for you? And what I mean by good is it actually healthy for you, like long term. So if you're doing something day in and day out, 365, and you add up, the years that you have been repeating this, is this actually helping you or is it hurting you or putting you in a situation where your health is going to be compromised or is in the process of being, compromised? And so I want to talk about snacks. Like I said, chips, crackers, all that stuff, even cheese. I know a lot of people enjoy it. Why do you enjoy it? Well, let's think about it. A lot of those foods tend to be, high in salt or fat or a combination of both, as well as containing, carbs. But what type of carbs? Usually refined carbs. And the thing about carbs is, your main consumption mode for carbs, for me, I would say would be to get it, from a complex carb, standpoint. Because with your complex carbs, it's going to take time for you to have that slow sugar spike. So as you're going throughout the day, you're getting slow spikes to really help you to get the work done. However, it's not causing you to, feel this sugar rush because, when you consume a lot of those simple carbs, your body's working overtime to do something with all of that sugar, essentially. And so, for me, when I think about those foods like chips and, candies and stuff like that, you have to wonder why do I actually eat that? And then, really check out the label, the nutrition facts label. And, I will just tell you that the label is not going to be 100% accurate. You know, not every label is going to be perfect, but I will tell you that it is a good representation of what you are consuming and what you're taking into your body. So it's important for you to really keep that in mind. How am I using this information? Because, whenever you buy a product, you buy everything with it. You buy the packaging, you buy the rights to know, okay, what is in that packaging. Even before you buy it, I would recommend you look at the nutrition facts label to really study, what is in this food, especially if it's not a whole food. Are there ingredients that could, affect your immune system, your gut health? Could it throw anything off with how your body is functioning? Also, questions that I want you to really consider asking, because I want to remind you that some of the diseases, illnesses that many people face could be reduced or mitigated by just decisions that you could make when you are in the grocery store. And I'm gonna say that again. Some of the decisions, or some of the diseases that a lot of people face, especially chronic diseases, um, some of these can actually be mitigated or reversed just by a person making, wiser decisions when they are in the grocery store. So, like I said, it's important. If you do not already do so, make sure you look at the nutrition facts label, study it, understand the sugar content, understand the ingredients that's in the particular food, even if it sounds good. And that's going to be a whole different topic that I talk about in the video that I talk about is the ingredients that look like they could be healthy, but in actuality are not really saying much, to be honest. So, when it comes to really um, adjusting your behavior for snacking, that is one way that you can really improve it. And like I say, snacking is not all bad. And I'll just go into, briefly how I snack. So usually for me, I usually pick whole foods. Particularly I may get like a fruit. So whether it's an apple, orange, peach, nectarine, any type of fruit, blueberries, wild blueberries, the list goes on and on. And I may get a serving of that if I ever had to snack. And or sometimes I may get like a vegetable like carrots or celery, you know, perhaps with some hummus. And sometimes I also get some nuts, like pistachios, walnuts, cashews, peanuts. The list goes on. And so for me, those are some of the types of snacks that I have just continued to really incorporate with my diet. Now, I won't say that I don't dabble in chips because every now and then I may, but when it comes to these other snacks, they typically have a higher priority, compared to chips or crackers. And most of that stuff I really don't consume as much as I used to. I probably actually consume it like very rarely, probably like once, twice a month, if that much. But even when it comes to candies, nope, don't even consume it. Some foods I just don't consume it, and the person may ask, "Well, why don't I consume it?" Well, after you are used to not consuming certain foods after a point in time, you just become used to not even, consuming it, or you don't have a need for it. So I would just recommend you do that. And like I said, these are just things that I do. So, even with what I share with you, you know, I know some people it may take baby steps to really say, okay, my snack choices haven't always been the greatest. I'm getting foods that are just high in so much. And also, one thing I want to point out to you is that snacking, depending on how often you do it, it can cause, additional weight gain. You may not realize, you may say, well, it's not like I'm, eating over like 900 calories or, more than what I need to, but you also have to take into account the nutrition facts label. So if you're consuming chips, 2 servings of, you eat a bag of chips a day or even half a bag. You have to do the math, especially if for that bag of chips it says 13 servings and you already have consumed 7. Then you kind of do the math yourself to really figure out, okay, you I'm already overeating. And so, and then going back to health issues, different ingredients, especially when it comes to America's favorite snacks. That's a warning for you to really look at that food product. And a lot of times I stay away from it because it's not going to contain anything that's whole, that's really good, that's going to complement my body. And again, this is especially if you're consuming foods long term. You want to have a plan to really say, okay, if I'm going to consume or snack long term, let me think about better options. And also let me think about the frequency that I'm snacking. Because I would say, it's best to really get full meals, wholesome meals. You know, difference between wholesome and hearty. Hearty can be, where it's very rich, you know, fatty, it's very high in sodium. Wholesome are the foods that are like whole steaks, like kale, brown rice, sweet potatoes, broccoli, um, whether it's tofu or lentils. Just to give you an example of like some whole foods. You can even do like lean meats, that are like 93% lean or even higher. So these are just options for you to consider in terms of snacking. So like I said, snacking is not, bad, but some things that I want you to really keep in mind is, how often am I snacking? Am I snacking too much? You know, and if I'm snacking like 4 or 5 times a day, what are the foods that I'm consuming? And let me take it a step further. Let me calculate the nutrition for those foods, because that can give me some answers in terms of am I gaining 5 pounds, or why do I look so bloated, or why do I feel like my head is hurting all the time. I mean, it could be directly, you know, a result of the foods that you're eating. So I want you to really, take all this information. Like I said, I want you to, it to be a recommendation of things for you to consider. So hope that this gives you, a better perspective moving forward when it comes to snacking, because I want to see you at your best health. Okay. So again, I hope that this information has helped you, shed some light to you, and even just get you thinking about how you can change some things if you need to change some things, or if you're already on the right track and you're consuming whole foods, and when you do snack, that they are healthier options, nutritious options, options that contain foods and the nutrients that you need for your body to support your full body process. Okay, so if you enjoyed this, make sure you give us a like, leave a comment if you don't mind, and feel free to share this video. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you already haven't, make sure you subscribe to our channel at Robotic1212. Again, that is Robotic1212 on major platforms including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. No Twitter. And if you don't mind, also check out our website, robotic.org, constantly being updated with the latest information. But make sure that you do subscribe to our email newsletter. That way you can get some emails from me that I send to you. Also contains some research studies. So if you do have that inquisitive eye on just, seeing, what is going on in the nutrition world, make sure you sign up, because I do want to send you that information. Alrighty. So I hope you enjoyed this segment. And until next time, hope that you have a great evening and rest of the week. Talk with you later.